I meant to do this video before Christmas. I was going to get everyone talking about gear, clicking on my juicy affiliate links. I went out, I started filming. This was December in Sweden, and it was so cold. After a couple of hours I sacked it off and went home. Never got round to finishing it. So I'm back out today to complete the job. And it isn't purely filthy profiteering. I'm going to be addressing a question that I get asked relatively regularly, which is just how do I go about making these videos that you see on my channel. Spring is well and truly here now. We're all getting out on the bikes more, I hope. Maybe even planning a big adventure for the summer and thinking that it might be fun to document that trip. If that's the case, you might find something interesting in the next couple of minutes. You might anyway. Stick around and see. First thing to mention, I suppose, is that there are a lot of different reasons for wanting to film a trip and a lot of different outcomes that you'll get because of that. So if you're wanting to make one of those beautiful, epic, high quality, cinematic masterpieces, wonderfully composed, beautifully photographed, an artwork, then I can't help you. You know, I love those sort of films, but I don't know how to make them. And actually, I don't really want to. What I'm aiming for is just a record of the trip. Something to look back on in years to come that will remind me of where I rode, where I camped, who I met along the way, how I felt about it all in the moment. And I always told myself that I would make films of my trips. I wouldn't go on my trips to make my films, if you see what I mean. The riding has to come first, the filming is sort of by the by. So my guiding kind of principle has been to assemble a kit and a process that interferes with the journey as little as possible. The first thing you're going to need is a camera, and I've always just used my phone. You know, it seems to make sense. I'm going to have my phone with me anyway because I use it as a phone and for navigation. So using the camera as well just makes sense. It's one less gadget to keep charged, one less gadget to keep track of, one less gadget to buy. I'm currently on a Google Pixel 7, I think, so it's by no means the latest and greatest in terms of technology, but it absolutely does the job. I use the stock camera app, which takes great stills, takes great footage, and importantly for my approach, it has a physical button launcher, so you can click twice on the power button and it launches straight into the camera through the lock screen and everything. And this means that I can have it in my pocket down here and be riding along, and if I see something that I want to take a shot of, I can grab it out, launch the camera, whoosh, go straight in, film the shot, lock it, stash it back in the pocket, all without even having to stop riding, which is good. Minimal impact on my enjoyment of the whole experience. And it isn't perfect. There are a few little things that I could like to see improved. I've never found a way to make it launch straight into video mode. It launches into stills mode and you have to flip it over, but that's no biggie. And I've never found a way to make it launch and pick up the microphone by default. You have to launch it and then tell it to connect to the wired mic if there's one plugged in. Lovely smooth link into talking about microphones there. If you watch a lot of my videos, you will know that I have struggled with audio in the past. and will probably struggle with audio again in the future. But it is really, really important. People are more forgiving of bad quality footage than they are of bad quality audio. And in fact, well, as you know, most of my footage, all the stuff of the rides from the bike, etc., I knock out all the wind and tyre noise anyway and replace it with rather lovely acoustic folk music or some such. So the only time I actually use a microphone is when I'm doing pieces to camera, and I use a Røde SmartLav Plus. It's very basic, it's very small and lightweight. It's a wired lav mic with a little windshield, and it does a really good job of capturing nice clean audio even on the bike in the wind. You know, it seems to do a very good job. And I don't actually ever pin it to myself. I just hold it in the same hand as I'm holding the camera in and point it at my mouth and hope for the best. The best is usually pretty good. If you cast your mind back to my Pennine Bridleway series, which you should go and watch if you haven't already, or if you already have, it's brilliant. It's me. If you cast your mind back to that, then that was the trip where my previous microphone finally gave up the ghost and I got this one. So that was early COVID days. So this mic must be 5 years old and counting, and it's still going strong. And I don't treat it very well. You know, it gets stuffed into pockets and bags and dragged around in the mud and rained on, and yeah, no problems so far. There's a quality bit of kit. The only thing that I would like to see change is that it seems a bit redundant having the little 3.5mm old school jack on there still. You know, it's not a problem to use the little adapter, but it just seems like a bit pointless in this day and age. It would be quite nice to see one that was hardwired USB-C. I'm sure it will come at some point soon. I will put links to all of this stuff I'm talking about down below. There will be affiliate links, but if you feel like clicking on them, if you're an Amazon shopper, then it is a great way to support the channel. You know, I get a little finder's fee. Everything you buy after you click one of those links, I think, for the next, I don't know, session or whatever it is. You don't even have to buy the things I'm linking to. Yeah, anyway, if you fancy it, links and info down below. If you stop there with a smartphone and a basic mic, you'd be set to make some pretty decent videos. From here on in, we're much more going to get into the realms of nice to have, personal preference, that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people wouldn't consider correct trouser choice to be an important part of your media list. But I'm going to talk about it because for me, it is very important, and I have recently had something of a heartbreak in this area that I think I just need to get off my chest. These trousers are Endura Humvees, and I'll try to avoid too many gratuitous arse and crotch shots, although it might be preferable to whatever the hell it is that's going on with my hair. Look at that, spectacular. But I've had Endura Humvees since I first got back into biking in 2007 or 2008 or whatever, and they're brilliant. They're really comfy, they're really hard wearing. Every pair that I've ever bought I still own and I still use regularly. But the main kind of key selling point for me is the amazing design of the back pockets. They are really deep, they're really wide. You can get a paperback novel in there, or in my case, a big phone, and it's secure. Yeah, in all my years of riding in these trousers and shorts on the bumpiest, roughest, most technical trails that I am capable of riding, I've never had anything fall out of those pockets. And yet they're accessible enough, as I've already demonstrated, that I can have my phone in there, be riding along, see something I want to film, grab the phone, fire it up, take the shot, put it back in, all without having to look, without having to fiddle, without having to stop riding or endanger myself in any unnecessary way. It's a brilliant piece of design. And then fairly recently, the pocket in my current pair got a little hole in the seams. You know, I think I had keys in there, so it's my fault. And I stitched it up and I'll get another 10 years out of them, no worries. But I thought, oh, I'll treat myself to a new pair. So I ordered a new pair and, well, I'll show you. That trick goes down a treat on my OnlyFans page. Although, to be fair, going from black trousers to grey trousers probably isn't as effective as going from black trousers to neon mankini, which is what I normally do over there. I think you can see what I'm getting at though, maybe, when I show you a close-up of the pockets on this one. What is that? What is that? It's still really deep, and it's arguably more secure than the old model. But as I said, the old model never failed me, and this one is so narrow, it just barely fits my phone in there, and to get it out and to drop it back in is a real fiddle. You know, with gloves on, or in the cold, or when you're riding something a little bit sketchy, you're not going to be able to do it, you're going to have to stop. And so I still really like the trousers, they're still really comfy, and they have all the other features that you'd want in decent riding trousers. But that pocket, what happened to that pocket? And I actually contacted Endura's customer service, and they were very, very kind, and they went and looked into it all for me, and they said, no, it's gone. That design feature is gone, and it's probably not coming back. So I was able to find a pair on eBay recently with the old design pockets, and I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. So if anyone knows any shop owners with a load of old stock of the version 1 style pockets, let me know. If anyone has a pair they want to sell, let me know. Honestly, I will buy them off you. And if anyone knows of any other brands of trousers that that have the same feature, then please let me know. Comments down below. And if anyone from Endura is watching, please bring them back. They can be a limited edition Jethro Jessup Bikepacking model or something. Please consider bringing them back. It was such a good feature, and I can't see any reason for losing it. Anyway, it's enough talking about trousers. Let's get on to the next thing. For a long time, I was pure one camera setup. But I started finding more and more that there was just stuff that I couldn't film using that approach. Fast descents, steep climbs, anything technical, anywhere where there was traffic involved. Basically, anything that I didn't feel comfortable riding one-handed didn't get filmed. And that seemed like a pity, so I splashed out and I bought myself a GoPro. Unlike my phone, it's not the latest and greatest. Mine is a GoPro Hero 9 Black, and I think they're on version 13 or 14 now, so I'm well out of date, but it's still a fantastic little camera. Yeah, it shoots really good high quality footage, and the in-camera image stabilization is something else. Yeah, I've never ridden anything rough enough that it resulted in footage too bumpy to use. It's really, really good on that front. It's also cool because it's got a really wide fisheye, which always makes you look like you're going faster and riding more radical trails than you really are. I experimented with a few different mounting points. I had it on the rack, I had it on the frame, I had it on the bars. But in the end, I decided that I like it on the chest mount the most. Yeah, it does look really good from that angle, but it's also just very sort of low impact on my ride, which, as I've said, is an important feature. You know, the chest mount is very comfy. It gets a little bit constrictive if it's hot and you're riding hard with it done up, but generally it's fine, and when it's unclipped you don't even notice it's there, so you can just have it on all day, ready for action when it's needed. And the battery life isn't quite good enough to use it as a primary camera. I think I've got 2 spare batteries and I use it sparingly, and I can film 6 days without having to worry about recharging. That's also nice because it's waterproof. I mean, my phone's waterproof technically, but it doesn't behave particularly well when it gets really wet. So it means if it's really coming down with rain, I can still film using the GoPro. And if I come across a wonderful little swimming spot like me and Woody did on our Cairngorms adventure, it means we can get some cool footage of jumping into rivers and all that kind of stuff. It's something I didn't think I was going to use it as much as I do, but actually if you want to really comprehensively document a trip, I think an action camera of some kind is well worth the investment. I wouldn't want to be without mine now, I have to say. Regular viewers will have heard me banging on about quad lock in the past. Not just because they sometimes send me free gear. I was buying their stuff long before I ever went begging, playing my influencer card. Yeah, the phone cases are really nice, they're really understated, they're really solid, do a really good job of actually protecting your phone, and the mounting system has never failed me. I can't fault it. I had the stem mount on my old bike, I've got the Outfront Pro on the Surly Ogre, and when I need to do tripod shots or selfie shots, I use the quad lock system as well. When I first started, I had just a standard kind of extendable GoPro selfie stick with a quad lock tripod adapter on the end, which was really good. I lost that crashing into a gate in front of a group of young lady dog walkers. That was very embarrassing, a story for another time. After that, I got a GoPro 3-way, also with the quad lock tripod adapter, and that was really good in that it extended on multiple hinges, as the name suggests, and it went really nice and long, and it was super adjustable, so you could set it up on really uneven, wonky surfaces and still get a level shot. But it was very big and bulky and quite heavy, and I don't actually do that many tripod shots. So more recently I've switched over to the quad lock selfie stick, which is, it's not as long and it's not as adjustable. So if you're going to set it up as a tripod, it has to be on a relatively level surface. But for me, it's loads better. It isn't as long, but it is plenty long enough. It's really quick and easy to deploy. You can go from nothing to selfie stick to tripod and back again really quick, like on the bike without stopping almost. It's quad lock native, which is great, so it's that really secure mount that I use for everything else by default. And the best thing is, it's tiny. It folds up so small, you could easily slip it into any bag, you know, webbing on your bar roll, into a back pocket. Even the stupid tiny pockets on my new Endura Humvee trousers, it fits into them really easily. So yeah, for me, that's the real clincher. It's very small, tucks down into the corner. I really like it. Quad Lock did send me that one for free, so thank you very much, Quad Lock. I'm really genuinely enjoying it. It's a top piece of kit. Again, I'll put links to all of this stuff down below. Go give them a click. Yeah. The last sort of hardware-y thing to talk about is power. Power! Another reason to go minimal on your filming setup is just that it's less things to keep charged, less gadgets to keep track of. I still have in fact, a Schmidt Son 28 hub dynamo on my front wheel, which was alright. It made some power. More recently I had a pedal cell rim dynamo, which was excellent. The pedal cell has sadly gone out of business now, so I don't know how long that's going to remain a viable solution for. But to be honest, I think it might be a moot point anyway, because these days trickle charging just isn't as important as it once might have been, I think. I have 3 GoPro batteries and a 20,000-ish milliamp hour Anchor cache battery. And if I leave the house with all of them fully charged and my phone fully charged, I can do 5 days, 6 if I'm careful, before I have to think about finding somewhere to stop and charge anything up. And realistically, for me, and I think probably for a lot of people, 6 days is about as long as you're realistically ever going to go before you just want to stop somewhere nice and have a shower. 6 days away from a grid socket it's pretty unusual, I would have thought. And if I was going to go on a trip where I thought I was going to be in the wild for 2 weeks, I'd just take an extra cache battery. I think that's the world we live in now. I actually think that the most important thing is just to learn how to maximize the power that you can carry with you. So this means for the GoPro, filming short bursts. I rarely do more than 10 seconds at a time. Keep the frame rate low, keep the frame size low, and have it set to auto off after whatever the shortest period of time is that you can. For the phone, this means, the same thing again, just be mindful of what you're filming. Think why you're filming it, what purpose it plays in your overall story. Don't film massive long sequences. And most importantly, key absolute thing to this, always have your phone in airplane mode. It doesn't seem to be common knowledge that GPS still works in airplane mode. And the thing that will drain your battery more than anything else is riding off into the wilderness somewhere where there's no network and having your phone vainly screaming into the void trying to find that network. It really is, it's a killer on the batteries. So airplane mode, cache batteries, you'll be fine. You keep everything charged, no worries. If you follow my last bit of advice and you go easy on the shutter button, then depending on the length of your trip, you might find yourself not having to deal with any footage on the road, so to speak. If I'm out for, 2-3 days, then generally I just leave the footage on the GoPro, leave it on the phone, deal with it when I get home. But if you're out for any longer than that, you might want to start thinking about doing backups. I use micro SD cards for this. I have some tiny little USB-C card readers. They cost like £1 each on Amazon, and it just means that I can shift footage from the GoPro to the phone, from the phone to the cards. I have a few cards so I can do multiple backups if I'm feeling super paranoid, because SD cards, they're not the most robust of storage, I don't think, and one day it will come back and bite me in the arse and I'll lose a load of footage. It'd probably be better off using some sort of solid state little USB-C drive, but for now the SD card approach is so lightweight, so cheap, so small and easy that I'll just go with that. I also use a piece of software called CX File Explorer, which lets you do zip compression as well, which can help with transfer and storage and what have you. And so to the final step. 9 times out of 10 I'll collect my footage, back it up or whatever, and wait to get it home before I do anything else with it. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. Future Jethro here, just chipping in, because while it is true that for the entire lifespan of this channel I have indeed used the Adobe software and enjoyed it very much, talking about that on this ride kind of made me reconsider the whys and wherefores of that decision and have a look around to see if there's any decent alternatives. So this video is actually the first one on this channel to be edited using DaVinci Resolve. And I think I'm changing my endorsement. It seems to be an incredibly powerful piece of software, pretty intuitive, nicely designed, and most importantly for an unemployable bum like me, it's free. So there you go, breaking news. YouTube sensation changes allegiance. Read all about it. Back to the ride. From time to time though, you might find yourself in a situation where you need to do some editing on the road, and for this I've always used an app called KineMaster. I tried a lot before I settled on this one, and of all of the ones that I've tried, it seems to be the closest to a proper like layer based non-linear video editing experience. I mean, if you're used to Premiere or Final Cut or anything like that, it's nothing close, and it does have a few frustrating little quirks, but it is pretty good. You know, it does support multiple layers, you can do effects and transitions, and you can tweak all that sort of stuff. It even lets you do some pretty basic like keyframe animation stuff, so it's good. It is good, and it will render out pretty decent quality stuff. It doesn't rinse your battery too badly. It seems to be the best I've found. If anyone has other suggestions for this, please whack them in the comments, because I would always be interested to know what alternatives are out there. For doing the thumbnails on the phone, I use an app called Snapseed for doing the photo manipulation, and then another app called Fonto, which lets you load custom fonts onto your phone and use them to do your titles and things. Got to keep the brand. It's very important to keep the brand. And that's that. That's my kit list and my process. What do you think? It's by no means the final word on such matters. It's where I've ended up. It works for me, and quite honestly, I can't see it changing anytime in the near future. People often ask me if I'm going to get a drone, and I mean, I love drone footage. I think it looks amazing. I think it tells a wonderful story, and I think it adds something to any video that uses it. But I can't be asked to keep stopping to launch and retrieve a drone. I can't be asked with the additional battery charging requirements, and I can't be asked with the additional expensive bulk to have to worry about. It just feels like breaking the prime directive, you know, one step towards sacrificing ride quality for footage quality. So no, I'm probably never going to get a drone. Maybe one day, but probably not. The only thing that I have considered adding into the kit would be one of those 360 cameras. Now, I thought they were kind of a gimmick when they first came out, but actually I've seen them used to very great effect, and I think it would be a nice addition to the videos that I do. So yeah, I don't know, if budget ever becomes available for such an upgrade, you might see it happen. If you would like to see it happen sooner, then please help support the channel. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the videos. Despite having hardly done anything on this channel for months, I do still have a long list of fantastic regular supporters. If you're on this list, thank you for your generosity, for your encouragement, for your patience. If you're not on this list and you would like to be, get over to Ko-fi. Regular supporters get their names here, and a free set of stickers as well. Check out the affiliate links below, links to all the gear that I've talked about in this video, in case you're interested, all that stuff. And you won't be throwing your support at an empty channel, I assure you. There is a plan for a ride, more than one day of riding. It's not going to be a super massive adventure, but it is booked in, it is happening in the next couple of weeks. Will I be alone? Ooh. Or might a certain face from the past be materializing beside me? We shall see. Anywho, I'm nearly home now. I am hungry, I am sweaty, it's a beautiful day. Gonna finish this one off, and as usual, See you all on the next one. Bye now.